Jenny, welcome back to my channel. Man, I haven't said that in so long. I've taken the longest break that I've had since I started this channel, but it was very much needed. But we're back with a DIY video for you today. I have some clay projects that I want to show you. I've done some clay DIYs before. They didn't turn out very cute, but I promise these ones turned out pretty dang cute, okay? So I hope that you guys are excited just like I am. But let's go ahead and get started. Let's go. So for all the DIYs in today's video, we're going to use this Model Magic clay that I got off of Amazon. It's super airy and light, and the best part is it does not stick to your hands. I've worked with clay before, and ooh, girl, you know that I'm super messy, so this worked so well with me. So far, all I did was just take a bunch of clay and I'm rolling that out. I would say the thickness is about like 1/2 inch thick, and I'm just taking this plastic cup from my bridal shower and I'm using that to cut out a perfect circle. And yes, I know the first circle does not look that nice, but I promise the second one looked so much better. But anyways, if you have a cookie cutter, definitely use that. It's probably easier to work with, but I'm using what I got, you know, being resourceful. Ah, you see, perfection. But anyways, we're gonna take one of the circles and now we're gonna cut that in half. And now you're gonna have 2 half circles. You put that to the side and you're gonna take your clay and start rolling that out. Doesn't matter how thin you want your rainbow to be. I would say my thickness for my rainbow is about a little more than 1/2 inch wide. Again, it's totally up to you on how you want to adjust it. The thickness is up to you, but I'm just working on the inside of the rainbow here. I'm just rolling it into one, and that's like the middle part of your rainbow, and then you're gonna start rolling it around that piece that you just made. I know I'm not the greatest of explaining, so it's probably easier for you to watch the video than like hearing me explain it, because as you can tell, I'm not that great. So enjoy. Now that I'm done with all my layers for my rainbow, which I did 4, I'm just gonna cut off the bottom so it's nice and even. Now that I'm done with all my pieces, I'm just taking this wooden dowel and making an indent behind the pieces so it's easier for me to glue on once it dries. So I did let the clay dry overnight before I started painting, and here you're just seeing me mix my favorite combinations with the red, tan, pinks, and browns. And then I'm just making that a little lighter and lighter as we go through, and that's like kind of like the combinations that I wanted to use for this rainbow, like an ombre look. And I forgot that I made 4 layers for this rainbow, so that's why I only did 3 here, but then I realized it and made another color, and I'm just painting that onto the rainbow, letting it dry on one side first and then doing the second side afterwards. Honestly, you don't have to paint the other side, but I thought it would be a good idea because I had so much paint left over, but it's a wall hanging. Who's gonna see the back of this anyways? Now it's time for the fun part. You're going to put everything together. You're going to grab your wooden ring and your macrame cord. You're going to cut it to the length that you want your wall hanging to be. Cut that out, and you're going to attach that to the wooden ring using a cow hitch knot. So you know that I had to add some wooden beads to this wall hanging. It just adds such a cute touch to it, and I definitely have to say that's probably the hardest thing that I had to do because those little holes are just so hard to put that macrame through. But anyways, here I'm just laying out how I want my wall hanging to be, grabbing my hot glue gun and just gluing that right onto the macrame cord, and that's where the indent comes in. It just lays flat onto the macrame, so definitely recommend you doing that before the clay dries. Once everything's done, just snip off the bottom and you're done. So I saw this really cool technique off of Pinterest. If you had the right color that you wanted, then you don't have to worry about mixing up your own paint or anything. But you're going to take some paint and then you're going to take your clay, roll it up. Don't be lazy like me and start like picking it off. I should have just started cutting it to make it look like more of a circle than a flat like rectangle. I don't know what I'm doing here, but anyways, mixing that up. And then once you're done with that, you're going to pour on your paint all over this piece and you're going to start just mushing it all together. You'll see why I recommend making it more of a circular form than a flat one. It just looks nicer at the ends. But anyways, we're mixing that together, rolling it up, and yes, I know it kind of looks like poop, but you'll get the concept afterwards. You're going to put that to the side and let it dry. So here I did something wrong again. What's new? I didn't let it fully dry and I started cutting the clay up using like this pastry cutter that Jimmy gave me. It was so much easier to cut, by the way, than using scissors. But yeah, as you can tell, the clay wasn't fully dry and the paint was starting to come off, and that's not what you want. And look how flat it looks. It was a disaster, so I don't even know why you're still watching me. Like, you should just click off now. I'm just kidding. No, stay please. I promise I will make it worth your while. I just mixed it up because that was just a disaster. Rolled it up into a ball and just flattened it out with this rolling pin. And look how gorgeous this design turned out. I mean, from what you guys saw earlier, this was actually pretty cute. From there, I just grabbed my plastic cup again and I made a perfect circle. I used the same cup and partially cut out the circle and made it into like a moon shape. So if you didn't learn your lesson, you're still watching me? Well, here's another mistake that I did. I used a wooden dowel to poke out a hole for this moon rather than using like a smaller cup, or not a smaller cup, something that I can cut out smaller circles with. But hey, it still worked out. But I have to say that my moon is a little bit thin. That's why it broke here. I was so sad, but nothing a little bit of water couldn't fix. Once it dried, I added on my macrame cord. I just tied a knot on the top and the bottom. And then for the bottom part, I just took my pet comb and started brushing that out to make a little fringe, and it was so cute. So for the next DIY project, I just grabbed a handful of clay and I'm using what was left over from the previous DIY that you guys just saw, rolled that out, and I thought I was going to be really cool by creating this new design with like this shape that I was gonna do. But yeah, it started ending up looking like a pizza and I was like, no, can't do that, girl. So I ended up rolling it together anyways and cutting that up, and it still looked really weird, so mixed it all up once again. Once I was done rolling that out, I just shaped it into like this upside down U, and I've seen this shape a lot lately for like home decor, and I thought it was really cute, so why not try it out myself? It definitely is small for a planter or like a candle holder, so definitely recommend if you plan to do this type of thing to make it a little bit bigger than I did, but I thought it still looked really cute. So this is one of the DIYs that I was so excited to try out, because if you guys see my previous videos, I do a lot of trays using like jute cords or macrame cords and braiding that together, but I was just like, why not try that using clay? And that's what you see me doing here. I just rolled out a bunch of strands and I started braiding that together, and it made like this really cool rope design, but it's out of clay. Like, I was so excited when I did it because it looked so cool. Once I was done with that, I set it to the side and I'm going to work on the base. So I just took a handful of clay, rolled that out, and you want it to be a little bit thicker because it is the base of the tray. And then I just took an X-Acto knife, started scoring that around the clay because that's how it's going to stick a lot better together. You're not using glue to glue them together, you know what I mean? But anyways, start taking your rope and just wrapping that around like you normally would with like a jute cord or a macrame cord. And look how freaking cool that design turned out. Now for the last DIY. So I didn't realize that I had some pink clay left, and of course I didn't want it to go to waste, so I just mixed it up with white clay, and this is what it turned out to be, and it looked really cool. So like the previous DIY, you want the base to be a little bit thicker, so add more clay if needed. Here I'm just cutting out my edges around the tray. I don't know why I waited until the ends, but my edges were a little bit too high. Like the height was way too high from what my liking was. You'll see me cutting it down later, but that was a mistake because it wasn't nicely cut like how it is here. Time for me to work on the middle part of the tray, and this is kind of like where you'll put like your rings on. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it kind of looks like a finger, and I think that's my fault because I kind of made it into like a color of like your skin, or you know what I mean, like a nude color. Once I was done rolling out the shape that I wanted, I stuck it onto the tray, and I used this wooden dowel because my fingers were so fat and it was so hard for me to like make sure that it was nice and flat onto the tray. You just want to make sure that it's secure, and here is where I messed up. I should have like fixed it way sooner. It was too late for me to do it. It was stuck on there, so I tried my best to like reshape it, but honestly it just doesn't look that cute anymore.
In a suitcase of a dream packed away when
Well, that's all the DIYs that I have for you guys today. I hope that you guys liked all the projects. If you guys do recreate any of them, make sure to like tag me somewhere because I definitely want to see it. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and turn on your post notification bells because you want to get notified whenever I post up a new video, and I promise I won't take another long break. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!